Okay.
So what we're looking at on the floor here used to be a Viking Age house. So we've got these stumps of wood down there, right, which have been worn out from
the archaeological site.
Yes, that's exactly where the archaeological site used to be. Right? Not where these exact houses used to be. These are just replicas of what we found 20 yards behind me. But where these stumps of wood are where the walls used to be. So we've got one wall down there, another wall. See if the big wooden plank down there that used to be where the back door.
The human siren in the background.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Where the Viking we use all we can, right? Got another wall next to the big red pillar down there, at the front door halfway through the lift.
Yeah.
That's the average house size for a very cold people. One room, one floor for one family, right? In the middle of the room.
Wow, so like a Roman bed set, yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. So in terms of living.
So this is one.
Yes, that would have been the second half. Mostly used for domestic purposes, certainly at this end. So domestic purposes and basically.
Oh, my friend, bus driver has that across, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, he wears it at work. He wears it all the time.
Yeah, fair enough. That's quite a nice cross.
I'll have to ask him when I see him if he's been here.
Yeah. You find that your salon will probably be used more as a forge to make tools, knives.
To see the fire there,
sort of thing, yeah.
the ashes.
Torch marks there, and the torch marks over there. That's where most of the fires would have been. Now this house is built on this lovely stuff called waterland door, which is just a fancy word for old wooden basket with mud clear and poo stamped on the side of it, right? Not the best place to live, by any means, but better than nothing. House over there though, built from wood, oak planks to be precise, oak from the oak forest that used to be around York, back in the good old days when the years had 3 numbers in them. Got plenty of houses next door though to the right, feel free to go there in your own time. There means plenty here to look at if you want to look at this.
Yeah.
Let's see, what can I say on it? Hygrometer, yeah, probably hydrometer, yeah.
Hydrometer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we essentially have the water table now, so that's where most of the water is when it's not in the treatment rivers and things. Meaning this whole place was essentially a swamp. Really.
Bones there or something.
Bones, yeah, absolutely. So those would have been bones from a sheep's skull.
Yeah, I can see the teeth. Yeah. Or what's remaining of them.
Yeah. Thankfully, I mean, I wouldn't curse any human with those teeth. But yeah, most of the bones you find here are animal bones, though.
Yeah. It's basically Roman towns. They just got buried in soil.
Yeah, essentially that's exactly what happened here, yeah. So, you might have had a well there, you know.
1,000 square metres with 16, 20 houses and 40,000 hours. So, in that direction. Because that's what we're looking right, just to be a bit of that. Blacksmith's house and the worker's house. We know that this is the blacksmith's house because the central half of these has evidence of the forge and the cooking fire. Fragments of metal impurities with stuck here or with 209 plates. This is why he made tools, nails, no, this is the replica. The real thing is over here. See on this picture here? Yeah. Right here. And that's why Catherine was now. Sorry? Yep, we're in between the main settlement is 30 yards in that direction. This place wasn't these places were the word Vikings, these were Norse settlers. The word Viking is job, it means you're a pirate essentially. Vikings means going on ships to plunder, kill, take riches, go home, use riches to grow their family. That's why we're bigger than the army. So then they always bring all the riches home. So they can drag those and pass them off to more friends. So that's why the bigger armies can go back to settle the area. Like the Battle of York, because they annihilated the Northern Army in the streets of York. This wouldn't exist. There is
We are going to take you back in time to Jorvik, Viking Age York. Around the time of Henry the last Viking king was Spanish, Jorvik expanded dramatically with new streets, new churches, and a brand new style of houses. It was a busy place, with people arriving from all over the Viking world to visit, trade, and settle. In this multicultural society, people had different appearances, languages, religions, and possessions. The remains of part of this thriving city were found right here, and by carefully piecing together all of the archaeological evidence and what we know from other sources, you can now visit the Viking Age. We have arrived by the River Foss. Ahead lies the city with countless houses and workshops, many of them newly rebuilt. Some, like this damaged one, a victim of an unintended half-bath. As ships became more seaworthy, the Vikings created wider trading routes, sometimes using chains of middlemen to carry goods from one side of the Viking world to the other.
The smell of wood fire.
Silks and the cowrie shell found here suggest trade with Central Asia, the Eastern Mediterranean and the Red Sea. It's possible that Arab traders, like this man, made their way to Jorvik to sell their goods. Slavers may have come to Jorvik from Dublin or elsewhere, bringing with them the spoils of their raids or battle victories. Slaves were an important part of society all over Northern and Western Europe at this time. It looks like this slave trader is trying to make his way up to Copenhagen. But before we get there, let's have a look at some of the many craftspeople working here in the city. Here's Sigurd. He's using animal bones and antler from deer to make some everyday objects such as combs, comb cases, skates, and bone pins. Making a comb from antler could be very time-consuming, as the ones found here were made from many pieces riveted together and then decorated. We know that the Vikings liked to keep themselves well-groomed, as we found many combs in the excavations, as well as items such as tweezers and even ear scoops. We'll now head away from the river towards the stream, Copenhagen, and meet some more of the people who lived and worked here. Ahead, you can see a simple, single-story building. These older houses were built from posts and wattle, had earth floors and thatched roofs. Most of these houses went out of use in the middle of the 10th century, when they were replaced by the oak plank buildings that we'll talk about later. These early houses were built end-on to the streets and had long backyards with rubbish pits in them. It's It's not likely that they grew much food in their yards, but they probably kept animals there, such as those pigs you can see in the pen and the fence. From the many pig bones we found, we know that Viking pigs were quite short and had a long snout like a wild boar. Pigs will eat almost anything, so it would have been a great way to turn household waste into meat. Here's the blacksmith's house. Look inside and you can see his wife by the fire. Grummy, the blacksmith, is teaching his son how to sharpen a knife that he just made. Viking age smiths were masters of their craft, and here in Jorvik they made everything from noodles to beautifully ornate handles. Now we'll go across to the next property and visit his neighbour, Unni, a wood turner who lives in one of the new style wooden planked buildings. Unni is making cups and bowls by turning wood such as oak or ash in his pole lathe. You can see all the wooden core waste on the ground, which children may have used as spinning tops. By the way, it's this trade that many think gave its name to Copenhagen, the street of the cup makers. Another building is being built behind Unni's house. Here, the cellar is being dug out and lined with oak planks before the upper story is added. You can see a stack of turfs over there that are going to be used to roof this building. Looks like the builders are having a rest there. This family also look like they're taking a break. The children are being taught to play nefertafel by their grandfather. We found a wooden gaming room and lots of playing pieces here, made from bone, wood and ivory, so it must have been a popular pastime. Let's go back towards the river where big trading ships are built that have come up from the North Sea. Here, traders are unloading their goods alongside fishermen cleaning their catch. Goods and raw materials from across Britain, as well as rare and valuable items from further afield, were brought into Jorvik here. Iron alloy bars from Britain alongside amber, sharpening stones and walrus ivory from Scandinavia, and good wine from the Rhineland. Jorvik was truly bustling, and vast international trading centre. Here's some fishermen cleaning their catch and mending their nets. Fish from the rivers and the sea were brought into Jorvik, and we found thousands of fish bones that tell us exactly what the people ate, which included lots of fish, eels, and even oysters. So these men are probably doing a roaring trade. Have a look at the man cutting the fish. His face has been reconstructed based on a skull that was found in York. Later on in your visit, you'll see more real faces like this. This next plot is a backyard where the people living here seem to have been dyeing their own cloth. The people of Jorvik spun fleece and dyed and wove their own wool to make textiles from which they made their own clothes. Natural dye plants such as madder, weld, woad and dyer's greenwood were all used to create shades of red, yellow, blue and green. Vibrantly coloured clothes would certainly have brightened up the streets of Jorvik. On this plot of land, there was a pool that contained dyed flower paste, suggesting that a dye vat had been tipped into it. Limestone lined that ditch running up to this next building, forming a passageway to the back door. We are now entering one of the new style oak planked buildings. We're still discussing whether these buildings were one or two story, but they all had rooms or cellars below ground level. As we travel through this two-roomed house, you can imagine that the floor at the back is being built, and you can see the cellar below where goods are stored. Above this sunken roof, the window openings are only small, so, as you can see, it would have been quite dark inside these houses. In addition to the hearth, small pottery lamps and wax candles were used to create light so that the people who lived here could carry out their everyday tasks. In this front room, you can see a woman working at the loom, which was used to weave woolen cloth for clothing and blankets. We're now moving into Coppergate itself, an important commercial street right in the heart of the city of Jorvik. As you can see from these stalls, you can buy almost anything. Coppergate is just one of the many streets in this city, which was home to more than 10,000 people.
He's wearing the Viking cross.
Covered in filth and mud, rutted carpets and potholes everywhere. This leatherworker seems to be having a problem sewing his shoe pieces together and looks like he has Viking's disease or Dupuytren's contracture. You can see it's caused the fingers on his hand to become clawed. It's a genetic disorder that runs in families and seen particularly in middle-aged men. Tradition has it that it originated with the Vikings and spread it throughout Northern Europe and beyond, travelling into marry. This couple here are arguing about what to have for supper. It would seem that life hasn't changed too much over the last 1,000 years. They're arguing miles more, but if you listen carefully, you can hear Old English, Middle Welsh and Old Irish all being spoken on this street. Here's a food seller trying to sell this wealthy-looking woman a cabbage of some sort. It doesn't look like the type of thing that would tempt her or her young lady. This woman looks like she's struggling to cross the road. We only found 2 complete skeletons in the excavations here, and this woman is based on one of them. You can see that she's walking with a crutch due to her hip problems and arthritis. You can find out more about her in the galleries to come. Here, we're in another of the new buildings. The first Vikings who came here were not Christians and worshipped their pagan Norse gods, but they seem to have adopted Christianity quite quickly. There is lots of evidence for there being a Viking-era church just behind Coppergate, and there were many other new churches built in Jorvik at this time. Here's a priest administering last rites. He would always have worn a stole around his neck as seen here, as it marked his priestly status. We found a very small, silk, pink-coloured reliquary in one of the buildings. The embroidered cross on it suggests that it once held holy relics which have since disappeared and are now a mystery. Each property is separated from the next by woven wattle fences. We know from the 5 tons of animal bone found in the excavation that the people's diet was quite similar to ours, with lots of beef, pork and mutton, as well as poultry and fish. Supplying this food may have been one of the reasons for the major changes in the countryside we see around Jorvik at this time.
Lucky rat.
In this backyard, animals have been slaughtered to provide meat and other resources. Body parts of cattle must have been a fairly familiar sight and smell around Viking Age York. As well as supplying meat, cattle carcasses also provided a home in the home, both valuable resources for making everyday items. Stomach contents and cow dung were other byproducts of this slaughter. There must have been loads of flies breeding in rubbish pits and dumps across the city. The red kite there on the fence would have been a regular visitor, scavenging in the city, particularly in backyards like this. Toilets would also have been situated in the backyard. Pits of this one were clearly used for the children, as they were full of human waste, as well as moss, which was a type of Viking Age toilet paper. This man here doesn't look too happy to be disturbed, so perhaps we'd better move on quickly. Here, we are in our final house. In the excavations at Copenhagen, we found a few Viking Age musical instruments, including a set of panpipes which can still be played. Music, saga telling and poetry must have been important for the Viking world. Iceland and Scandinavia have cultures rich in storytelling, traditions that developed in biblical times. Norse mythology, which conjures up gods and monsters living in 9 realms, still captures the imagination today, and we can picture what it was like sitting around a hearth, enjoying tall tales of magic and bravery. As we arrive at the end of your journey through Jorvik, remember that everything you have seen is based on the evidence dug up by archaeologists from York Archaeological Trust. You can see some of the 40,000 actual objects they found.
Yeah, so it probably would have been more settled by 960 than other period of time in the world, so you would probably say
So they just took that and put it in a skeleton.